Hello again. Today we'll be talking about San Francisco again. San Francisco is my favorite city when it comes to the subject of mud flood and Tartaria and old world resets. In fact, it's my opinion that San Francisco is going through a sort of reset as it is right now. I was lucky enough, or unlucky enough, to grow up in the Bay Area, and I've seen San Francisco change just over the last 30 years. My father actually helped build that building, that Transamerica building. It was completed in 1972, and my father helped build that building. But anyways, I've seen San Francisco change, as I said, over the last 3 decades. The San Francisco that will emerge post-pandemic will not be the same San Francisco as the ones in this picture. Here we have the Cliff House. Amazing. Market Street. I believe this photo was taken shortly before the earthquake of 1906, which some people refer to as a false earthquake or a false disaster. I'm not sure where this was taken in San Francisco. If anybody knows, let me know in the comments. I've also heard that this isn't San Francisco, but some people say it is, some people say it isn't. Regardless, it may or may not be. Getting back to what I was saying though about post-pandemic San Francisco, it's not the same. San Francisco is one of the most negatively impacted cities due to the lockdowns or the imposed attack on commerce. It is my theory that San Francisco will never be the same, and it is going through a sort of resets. Here we have the Ferry Building, and the Embarcadero. Some Antiquitech there at the top of the dome. This is the original City Hall as it was destroyed after the 1906 earthquake, although some people it looks like it was shredded. This house still stands, I believe, although it looks a little bit different. I forget the intersection, but regardless, this structure is still there in one way or the other. So is this one. There you see, once again, the antenna on top there. And the Antiquitech there on the poles. Here we have a panorama view from Russian Hill. Not sure on the date. Yeah, not sure on the date on that one. Then we have the original Mission Dolores. Once again, date unknown. Yeah, San Francisco it's a trip, as they say, and but not anymore. San Francisco nowadays is completely just, it's a joke, really, to be fair. It's just a joke. It's nothing like it used to be in the 80s and 90s. I mean, politically, spiritually, culturally, I mean, it's practically dead. There's pretty much absolutely nothing going on up there of any interest. Nothing like it was like in these pictures. I mean, say what you will about this period. It's spotty past, it's uncertain. I mean, look at this picture, for example. I mean, it's completely whited out here. I don't know what the purpose of that is, what they're blocking there, what they're hiding there. You know, I mean, what was really going on back then? You know, it's just amazing. This is still there. This supposedly was one of the only working fire hydrants during the fire of 1906. It's since been commemorated as a monument. I believe this building is still there, albeit it looks a little bit different, but still some sort of mixed retail housing situation. That horse looks fake. That horse looks like it was spliced in or something. It could just be the nature of the photography at the time, but regardless. Now this is what we think San Francisco was, with the wooden sidewalks and looking very old Western, almost like we were at the OK Corral or the Tombstone, Arizona or something. Now once again here we see Antiquitech on the roofs, empty city streets, looking very ghostly, and then here we have the classic Tartarian architecture with the arched windows, columns, intricate detail, and then just plastered with cheap signs. Same here. We have these beautiful big buildings. Sorry, I wasn't even going to do a video tonight. I have a horrible stomach. I have a horrible stomach ache, sharp pains in my stomach, but I'm going to try to get through this. So, as I was saying, Antiquitech on the sidewalk, and then cheap signs. Here we don't see the cheap signs. This was been a little bit before that period, before the age of advertising. But regardless, here we see some technology there. This is a very grainy old picture here. But even though this picture was taken a long time ago, we still see the city built out. We can't get a lot of detail in this photograph, but regardless, same with this one. What's that giant spire? I apologize for the crappy nature of this photo, but still, we get the point. The city was built out. St. Mary's Cathedral, still standing. And then we see the Tartarian influence or the Tartarian hand at play there. Same with this building. Dozens of intricate archways in the windows, and then plastered with cheap signs. So we see the juxtaposition there, and that could be the two timelines kind of overlapping in a period of adjustment, a period of transition from the old to the new. Same thing here, in the sense of it's still standing. I forget exactly where this is, but I believe that's still standing as well. And if you ever go to San Francisco, or if you've been to San Francisco, or if you live in San Francisco, you know what I'm talking about. When you kind of relax your eyes, you see the old pop out of the new. It's still there. It's still there, kind of hidden amongst the new. And especially now with the city being so empty, it's actually easier to notice the old world pop out. But yeah, San Francisco is a dying city. It has no culture left. It's really just kind of living off the fumes of the pre-pandemic San Francisco. And it was kind of in a downhill trajectory before the pandemic. This house is still standing as well, I believe. If anybody knows the exact intersections of any of these photographs, go ahead and leave it in the comments. There's another photo of the cliff house. You see, people thought that they were stupid for building it so close to the cliff, but I think that it was built a lot longer. It was built a long time ago, and it didn't hang off the cliff then. Not sure about this one, as far as the location or the name or its current status. I would imagine it's not still saying. So here's a perfect example of what was going on with the cliff house. They thought they were stupid for building it like that, but I think they built it a long time ago, and when they built it, it wasn't hanging off. But people will argue that too. Here we are at the old Sutro bathhouse when the statues are still standing. Now, I have it on good authority that a lot of those statues are still in existence, that they're not lost, that these statues are residing on properties in the Bay Area. And yeah, here we have some photos from the World's Fair. We have the Palace of Fine Arts and some other palaces, and some people here out on the pond there. Here we have the giant fountain, the giant archway, supposedly temporary structures, but you know, that doesn't add up. And we have the floating building, the infamous floating building, once again supposedly constructed just for 9 months of display. Seems like a lot of work for only 9 months. Here we have an overhead view of the World's Fair. You know, once again, just a lot of work. This photograph, it's something about it's just very mysterious. It almost seems unreal. Just the girl's face and the cliff house in the background. Here we have an illuminated view of the World's Fair, just kind of showing how grand the illumination was. I wouldn't imagine that lights were even that advanced at the time. So in closing, I'll leave you with this photograph taken from Chinatown excavation. And during this excavation, there was some very interesting artifacts found, some very old pottery that may have been a glimpse into San Francisco's origins and past. Thank you. Goodbye.